think the last time we spoke was uh, when? In Rostov, before you were supposed to fight Ali
Hmm.
Bogotinov.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. We did talk then as well.
A lot has changed. The weight class has changed. The
Hmm.
attitude has changed. You look really healthy. I love seeing that on you.
Well,
How's
I'm trying my best. Everything is good. The biggest thing for me is I noticed when especially with the Ali Bagotino fight, I was training really hard to cut the weight, but then I'm
that?
also really hurting myself. My body couldn't handle such hard training because I need to do so much just to get so low that now for a lot of people who don't know, for the Ali Bagotino fight, I tore my LCL in that camp. And this I was already in Dagestan and I'm, doing PRP shots to get healthy and just trying to, keep on going. I couldn't even jog for 2 weeks. So when it came to the weight cut, I was now finally able to jog, but not even fast. So even though I wasn't able to make weight, it was probably a blessing in disguise where I might have hurt myself more. And after that, I was like, man, if I can't even compete at my best, also not do it in a very happy and motivated way, let me bump up. And if I can't, if I'm going to be the smaller guy, let me accept that I'm always the smaller guy anyways, and let me just enjoy the process. And if I lose, at least I lose in my best compared to like, oh man, I'm so tired. I should have been able to do this. I could have done that. And it's too much. And at least with this, I'm able to enjoy life a lot more and enjoy training instead of like, all right, well, here's camp. I gotta say goodbye to the world and I can't go outside anymore and I can't see food and do this and do that. So yeah.
How's the food been in Colombia?
It's been really, really nice, and the reason why I'm in Colombia right now, I've been out here for 2 weeks or for 1 week so far, 2 weeks for the fight, and the reason why I wanted to come out early was to get acclimated. It's, 3,200 meters high, or kilometers, and it's in feet, I believe it's like 12,000 feet. It is extremely high. The altitude
Here's the
sucks, I can tell
altitude.
you
I was
that.
gonna ask you about that. How's it
I'm
been
I'm
adjusting?
I'm honestly nervous for a lot of the amateur fighters coming for the Pan American Games because most of us, whether you're in the States or whatever country you are in the Latin American community, it's like you probably don't have mountains. You probably live on the beach. And this is literally 2 miles high. Again, I don't know what that is in kilometers, but it's like that is for people who don't
A
know,
lot.
Denver is known as the mile high city. Bogota is the 2 mile high city. Like it's a lot. So for me, it's funny. We've been doing a lot of mountain runs, we've been training, and I've been actually not staying with, but getting help from Eduardo Mora, who is from Bogota. And he's like,
Mhm.
brother, if you need anything, like I'm in his room right now. He's like, if you need anything, I'll cook for you. I was like, okay, cool. I'll buy the groceries. Thank you. You need to wash clothes? I have a washer and dryer. You need to get acclimated. Let's
Amazing.
go to the mountains. Oh, you need a car? Here's a motorcycle. I was just like, yo, I got transportation. This is awesome. So he's been super
Incredible.
genuine and helpful, and, I just finished having lunch right now. He set me up in the room, and I was like, "It's super genuine." And yesterday was my birthday. They made a birthday
I
cake for
know.
me,
Happy birthday.
and
I saw
thank you.
that.
And
How's
they
the
did all these things.
food?
I'm not used. I'm such a giver that I'm not used to receiving stuff. So when I receive stuff genuinely without looking for stuff in return, I'm like, this is really sweet. Plus, I'm usually never home for my birthday, so it's hard for me to get a birthday cake, a candle, stuff like that. So when I'm in a place where people genuinely do stuff, like I didn't know they were making a cake the whole time, a healthier cake, but they made a healthy cake for me, and I'm just like, I walked in, I was like, oh, they have the music playing, they have the balloons everywhere. They trap me. They're like, hey, let's. His son is like 3 years old, and I've been playing with the son this whole time. He's like,
That's
my,
adorable.
my my son wants to go to the park. You want to go with them? I was like, yeah, let's do it. I've been playing with them, and then they're like, "Oh, sure, go ahead. You walk in first." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." Just nonchalant, not thinking about it. And then I'm like, "Oh, don't cry, don't cry,"
Oh my
So
God, that's so
it was
sweet.
it was really really cool. And easily one of the best birthdays I've had in a long time. But to the altitude, we've been doing a lot. And today we did an MMA practice, and I'm just like, okay, this is a lot. Given I'm gonna be a lot more prepared than most fighters, even on the Brave card. But yeah, that's something I'm nervous about is these guys trying to get acclimated and then also not being able to perform the way they usually do because this does play a huge shock into your system.
100%. You definitely have a very impressive professional record, undefeated amateur record. You're veteran in the sport, 100%. So, how has, your past success shaped you, both mentally and your confidence going into this title fight?
Honestly, for me, years ago, especially when I signed up Brave, and that was the hard part is that when I got released from the UFC, also at the same time, I used to be engaged. I lost that engagement, a person I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Yeah, I was with somebody for 7 years. And then
Wow.
also my father passed away that, I did this sport for. So the three things that, in a sense, that I only thought about growing up was like relationship. Okay, that went to, crap. All right, UFC, I've been trained since I was four for this. They completely disrespected me and did all the bad things. And then, my father, who I did everything for, pretty much, passed away and it's gone. And I was like, man, what's my purpose? So it kind of sucked when I was entering Brave when I fought Amir Abazi. I didn't even want to fight. It wasn't because it was Brave or a different promotion. It was just like all my goals I wanted, and they all kind of got taken away from me. So mentally, I was battling a lot of stuff, and they kind of hit me every single year. Then COVID made things obviously a lot worse. Not able to fight. I'm just training, not getting paid, and things getting a lot more complicated. But as I started to grow mentally and started to work on myself and to try, I go, well, honestly, the three things I wanted most can't be taken away from me because they're already gone. So everything else is just a plus. Let me go out there and try. Let me go out there and see what else might be my favorite. It's like going to a restaurant. Yeah, you have your favorites here and there, but once you tried something new, you go, okay, hey, maybe that's not as good, or wow, this is actually delicious. Maybe this is my new favorite. I'm gonna try something new. And now I found out I enjoy other things. So for me, especially this last year from 30 to 31, I write notes to myself every single year of like kind of as a summary to kind of, check up on myself and see how much I've grown. And I can tell you, I wrote a letter to myself yesterday and then looked back at my letter at 30 and I was like, wow, this is very different at 30. I'm just like, all right, man, hey, you got this. Let's just keep trying and, see how tomorrow goes. And it's okay. You're able to better handle those situations, a lot more productively and you stay out of your head as much. And now I'm just like, I'm excited to see tomorrow. I'm excited to see 32. I'm excited to see what happens next. If things go bad, I'm able to better adapt to it. Yeah, things are still going to go bad and that sucks. It's never not going to suck, but it's how you adapt to it and how you let it hit you and go, cool, let's just kind of roll with the punches and see where it goes from there. So I think I always say if I can walk in the cage smiling and have fun, I think that's the most dangerous shorty, and I think for this camp,
Fire.
especially in Latin America, I'm Latino, I'm Mexican, Puerto Rican, and born in the United States. Like I'm literally Pan American. So it's like this is gonna be a huge thing, not just myself, but for all the Latinos, around the Americas.
Definitely. One thing I really wanted to talk to you about was your mental health advocacy. It's something I genuinely really love about you. You've always been open about the struggles of mental health, overcoming it, sharing tips, sharing strategies. How has your personal journey, with anxiety, with depression, impacted your career? And how do you hope to kind of inspire and support others who may be facing similar challenges?
Well, I can tell you a couple things. One, when I lost my fight in UFC against Alex Perez, going in there, I was already kind of going through difficulties. I knew the UFC didn't like me for whatever reason. I was already kind of going through relationship stuff, and my dad's health was already declining. So, like mentally, I wasn't well going in there. Plus, you have this last minute weight cut that they're kind of forcing you to do, and I had a really bad relationship with the UFC. So, mentally, it didn't matter if I was fighting at the Staples Center or not. I'm like, I just want to go home. I don't care what my record is. I'm 33 and 0, and I'm already accepting in my head Monday when the fight is Saturday. I just want to go home. I don't care what happens. And I had my worst defeat. I get TKO'd, like 100 and some punches in like 3 minutes. And given I know I'm tough because I can take 103 punches before my body gives out, but after you're like, man, I didn't perform at all. No, I was just a shell of myself. And even still today, 5 years later, I won't even say it's regrettable. It's just one of those circumstances was inevitable. Like it was bound to happen mentally. It just so happened to be in front of millions of people and it sucks. But later on, when I started to really work on myself, man, I can tell you there's like quotes by Mike Tyson. He's like, no, you need to hit rock bottom. That's a good thing because the only way to get out is to go up. When you're at rock bottom, as long as you're trying, you're eventually gonna get out. Might take you longer than others, but as long as you get up and go, you can do stuff. It's like if you stay in your room, that's all you're gonna know is that darkness, whatever's in your room. You have the curtains closed, and trust me, I had my fair share of days like that. But when you finally get up and go, you know what, man, I'm not honestly not excited to go out today, but let's just screw it, let's just see how this goes and how it works out. Maybe you see the sun. Maybe there's some rain clouds in the day, but every once in a while, it might be better than what you expected. And with that, you start to find out more about yourself, especially with the mental health stuff. You start to go, what do I really enjoy? What actually makes me happy? And especially with, my fiance being gone and my father being gone, pretty much my two best friends at the time, it's like I'm completely alone. So maybe I was very codependent on them, so let me be very dependent on myself and let me rely on myself. If I'm lonely in, let's say, what was the phrase? If I'm alone in my own company, then I'm in bad company. Basically, like that means I don't enjoy or love myself. So I need to figure out how to love myself and how to figure out things of what I enjoy, what makes me happy, what are my triggers, how to face those because everyone has their fair share of triggers.
Yeah,
I still have mine
100%.
today that I tell people, I'm like, I have my code words. My manager's daughter, Addie, she's one of like my little best friends. She's like my Pokemon. She's always at my side, following me everywhere. And I'm like, leave me alone. But she's like my little sister. And
I love it.
there's some days where I had my panic attacks or my anxiety attacks, and I'm just like, hey, Addie, I'm gonna hide right now. So let me do my thing, and I'll come back. She goes, oh, okay. So that's my code word. Is like, I'm gonna go hide. Bye-bye. And then, I go do my thing because, that's the polite way to say it. She goes, okay, I know this is your time to do whatever you need to do. And I had my way of taking care of myself. I put on my headphones. I have my own playlist that it's music that inspires me or helps me calm down. Whether I need to
Right?
go somewhere and cry, whether I need somewhere to go hyperventilate or just go, you know what, it's okay. Like kind of talk to myself and deal with my problems. But I've had much less of those lately, which is phenomenal. And
Amazing.
I've been able to vent more, listen to TED Talks, read books, which I hate reading, but I'm reading books. So, think of different ways for,
Congratulations. That's
psychology and mental
amazing.
health stuff and doing different things. And because I've been able to better myself, again, I'm a giver. So I used to give myself too much to people at a time. Mentally, I'm only like 20% of myself, but then you also don't deserve 20% of me. You deserve all of me. I'm going to give you some of me. I'm going to give you my best. And 20%, you don't deserve that. And I don't deserve that. So if I'm going to take care of myself, let me better take care of myself. So then once I'm fully capable of doing so, and I can better take care of you, and it's a lot more responsive compared to like, I'm drained, but yeah, come on, I got you. Let me take care of you. And then you're like, oh, this is what I expected. And then it's worse on me. And I'm like, so I can tell you like, when I had my fight with Marcelo Dur, when I was supposed to
Yeah.
fight for the title, I remember 2 days before, I was mentally prepared for the fight. I was fine. I obviously had my triggers here and there. Still very fresh, the very first loss of my life like that. And I remember getting and I was in a sense, like, I wasn't, like, suicidal of, like, I'm trying to kill myself, but then when I look back at it, I was trying to kill myself. I'm wearing a sauna suit in, the summer heat in Florida, running outside, 4
Mm.
miles or pretty much a 5K and hoping I pass out. I was doing a lot of really, disrespectful things to myself that was very dangerous. And I'm like, no, no, I don't need help. I'll do it myself. And then at night, I just go eat donuts because that was I get my coping mechanism was eating. And then I went to Bahrain and, I'm figuring stuff out with saunas here and there. And I remember it was at Worlds. And so everyone knows me and I'm happy about that. And everyone was paying their respects. Amir Bazdi, Sheikh Khaled, and Hamza, all these great guys. And they come up to me and they're like, hey, brother, my condolences. The only problem is I also am trying not to think
Not
about
to
any of
think
that.
about it. I bet that made it
And
so much harder.
oh my god, I'm just like, "Huh," and then people that I respected that I finally was next to because my camp is very dispersed, and that I respected were there, and now I feel vulnerable enough to open up, so I'm crying every single day throughout the week, finally able to vent 'cause I never really cried when my father passed away, and that because I wasn't my dad was a gang leader, I wasn't taught to cry, I was taught to just shut up, be tough, do what you gotta
Bottle it
do.
in and just keep going.
I'm a man, and that's how I'm supposed to be. And then, I remember being in the sauna and just eventually having my first ever panic attack. And my nutritionist has had his fair share of panic attacks. He's like, "Hey, man, do this, do that." In my head, I was in a sense trying to kill myself. I'm like, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what you're telling me to do, so I can either wake up in the hospital, wake up back at home, or wake up next to my dad, which would be dead. So in my head, I'm just like, I don't care And then, as the fights progress, I'm actually handling the same situations better because I was working on myself. I'm like, okay, cool. Same thing with the Ali Balotelli fight. Like, even though it didn't work out as I planned, I'm like, okay, cool, I can figure it out. And then I tear my MCL, and then I can't fight for another 10 months. I'm like,
Yeah.
"I- sucks, but hey, maybe it's for a reason. Maybe it's more time for me to work on myself. Maybe someone above is telling me I need to do whatever I need to do to take care of me, so I can finally be a champion later on. And then coming back for the Israeli fight, I'm like, I feel good. I'm healthy. I'm with all my brothers in Bahrain, the Dagestani guys, the Bahrainis, and just Team KHK. I was like, man, I feel good. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm with positive people that are helping me, genuine people trying to genuinely help me. And I got to perform my best. Still wanted to finish, but the guy was tough, wasn't able to get it. After I'm having
That was
fun with
still
the
an incredible
audience,
fight.
thank you.
Still
I'm
an
having fun with
incredible.
the audience, doing stuff, and then now I'm like, I just want to fight. And sadly, we're supposed to fight in March. Politics obviously pushed that. April, I know Nkosi had other problems, so he couldn't fight, and Braves just pushed it back. And even though it's not fun because you don't get paid until you fight, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm able to survive. I'll do some things. I'll still help out my community, do what I'm able to do, and finally now leading up to this moment, yesterday was one of the best birthdays I had because it wasn't just like a birthday and a surprise birthday party. It was people posting photos of me. It was people messaging me and not just saying happy birthday because they see the notification. They're saying happy birthday because I've been able to spend time with them and quality time with them. They know who I really am. They know I'm trying to care for them back. And so they're like, dude, I hope the best for you. I hope the best in your fight. This, that. I hope you enjoy all this food. And it was all genuine responses from some people that I haven't seen in years. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm a very empathetic person that relies on people's support. So when I hear all of that in a very, again, genuine way, it's like, this is really sweet. It's awesome. And it's everything I can ask for and so much more.
If there's anything that I really admire about you, it's your perseverance and how much you've persevered throughout your career, regardless of what life threw your way, ups, downs, lefts, and rights. And if there's anything, I've always wondered, how do you find the strength to persevere and continue chasing your dream, regardless of all the things that are happening? What motivates you both inside and outside?
Well, I know the biggest thing, and I wouldn't even say that it motivates me, is because I mean, there's days that, like, I have no motivation. Obviously, I'm in almost weight cut week. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta do this again. I don't want to do it. I don't care if I'm at a higher weight class. It still sucks.
And
So
still that
that
you still have to diet and cut weight.
Hey, and that's really what it is. I know that no matter what, I have to stay disciplined to get my stuff done. If I want to be successful in anything I do, I need to stay consistent. I need to stay disciplined. Doesn't matter what my emotions tell me. And that was the problem when I was in the UFC. That was the problem when I first entered Brave. I was kind of getting by with my natural skill, which is awesome, but mentally, I just wasn't there. If I think mentally I was there, maybe I would have finished Amr Abazi. Maybe I would have finished Blaine O'Driscoll and all these other guys, Sean Tentella, but I was still battling so much adversity, and I was going, "Oh, I'm not motivated. I'll figure it out. I'll do something else." And it's like, no, I started to learn, especially I think now I'm that old veteran in the sport where I'm like, no, these are the things you need to do, especially now talking to Edgar Torres is on the card with me, one of the kids I sponsor. He's I think the second fight of the night. I'm like, no, this is what you need to do. I know it sucks, man. Trust me. I know it's not fun, but I'm doing it too. Come on, let's get up. Let's go suffer together. You're not alone. And if you do this now, yeah, honestly, you still might lose, but you have a much better chance of being a lot more successful if we stay consistent and do what we need to do. But if you for sure don't do this, you will for sure not succeed. There's no luck in this sport when it comes to working hard. There's not like, oh, you know what? I'm just thrive on my natural skill. That honestly is only going to go so far when you get to a high level like Brave or other promotions. Like especially main event title, spot contendency. It's like, no, you need to stay consistent, stay disciplined. And that was the biggest thing with my mental health. It's like, I remember just being in the room and Dean Thomas, my coach at the time, especially during COVID, he's like, dude, go out, date, see people, do this, do that. Like, yeah, you might miss her. Yeah, you might miss your father. Yeah, there's going to be moments where you think of a lot of negative stuff because those are your triggers. But if you don't face those, if you don't get out and you always run away from it, they'll always haunt you. So, now I'm able to comfortably talk about, honestly, yeah, I wanted to die a few years ago. Yeah, I wanted to do really dumb things or hurt myself to end up in the hospital. Yeah, I wanted to do very bad things. And that's why I always try to be the the light in the room because I don't want people to see that. I'm in a sense where I kind of idolized Robin Williams, where he was such a very powerful person when it came
Oh
to
my
making
god,
people
that was
smile
very
and laugh. And then when he committed suicide because of his illness and his depression with it, it's like I kind of, to a sense, because obviously I wasn't ill and gonna die from that inevitably, but it's like, man, that I kind of get it, where it's like, what's the point? You know, and that you saw once his light got taken away, people were just heartbroken. I was, you were, all these people. So for me,
yeah.
I try to be the light in the room, and I know what mental illness is. I know what, in a sense, triggers of PTSD are to, again, to not the military wise, but just personal problems. And I know what depression is. I know what wanting to kill yourself is. So for me, it's like, I don't judge what people have done. We've all made our fair share of mistakes. I definitely can say I wasn't the best person, the best boyfriend, the best
We
son, the
all
best,
can.
employee, whatever. But it's like, hey man, we all make mistakes, and it's what we do today that's able to change it. And if we're able to help other people, then that's even better. Hey, if my purpose here is not to be the best in the world, then screw it. Let me try to help someone be the best in the world. At least I can help someone do that. I feel that I'm here for service and not here for myself. That's why I always say I'm a giver. And if things happen in my favor, then thank you. And if it doesn't, then hey, at least I'm trying my best and I can say I tried compared to not trying it on and it's that woulda, shoulda, coulda, or something holding me back with my mental illness or mental health.
Definitely. You know, you've always been such an advocate in regards to those things. You've also always been very vocal about your connection to your hometown, your connection to Chicago, and advocacy against street violence as well. Um, how do you believe, your platform as a professional fighter can make a positive impact on the community? You know, MMA has a better rep now, but for the longest time, it did not have such a positive reputation within the community. I know you're involved in projects. I'd also love to hear, what initiatives or projects are you involved in at the moment?
Well, so for me, I have my own foundation. I know not just in general in Chicago, but I help other people like Edgar Torres is from Peru. And I get to sponsor him where I'm just like, hey man, here's a couple $100 for your next fight. It's a sponsorship. I'm taking care of you. I'm also teaching
Amazing.
you social media, teaching you how to market yourself. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get you a fight in Brave. And I remember negotiating with,
I love
the
it.
matchmaker, going like, hey man, I want him on the card. I need him on the card. No, we need to figure it out. If I take a pay cut, get him on the card, please. And they're like, "Oh, well, it's part of the Colombian card. We can't fly him in. I'll fly him in. I'll take care of it. As long as we can get him on the card, like we'll figure it out." And now he's here. He's like, dude, this is a great opportunity. He's from a little like village in his
Incredible. That's
town,
amazing.
so he's just like you can see, and he's only 20 years old. This is his first international trip. So him looking is like, this is awesome. It's different. I'm like, yeah, let me teach you how to weight cut. Let me teach you how to work out. Let me teach you how to train smart. Let's communicate so I can teach you mentally how to stay strong. I know you're nervous. It's a great opportunity. I'm nervous too, dude. I'm the main event fighting for the title.
Mm.
It's natural, So I'm trying to coach him. I'm trying to big brother him or even father him, depending on how you want to look at it. And for me, especially with Chicago, we thrive on violence. We're known for being called Chirac. I was, a gang leader's son. I'm known for that type of violence, but I'm also, for me, I've been that nice guy that doesn't want to fight. If anyone knows Dragon Ball Z, Teen Gohan is that kid that was extremely powerful, but never wanted to fight because that just wasn't his thing. That's always been me. I just end up being really good at it and eat it when I have to. And with the money, I'm able to help in my foundation, sponsoring different athletes, able to help my family do different things, get vacations finally, because my mom and brother never really took vacations. You met my brother every time he's at an event, he's just like,
Yeah,
"This is awesome."
love
So
it. Oh,
so
such good energy.
I'm like a little big brother to him where I'm like, cool, let's go. I got you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do this, do that. I try to help people in my community, but then also try to show that in our neighborhoods, because 'cause they're so segregated in Chicago, we're not taught that we can do certain things. We're like, "Hey, you're Latino, you're meant to be a plumber, you're meant to be a cook, you're meant to work on the landscape, or you're just meant to work in general." And that's all we're taught. Same thing with different, types of communities. You're meant to work, and this is your minority group of what you're supposed to do. And even though stereotypes kind of fit, it's like, that doesn't mean you can't break them. Doesn't mean you can't do more. And for me, I actually tried and honestly, I never expected to make it this far. I just kinda listened to my coach and I'm like, "You know what? I got a good mentor. Let me, Master Bob Shermer, who's still my coach today at I think 15 years now. It's like he just
Incredible.
tells me what to do, and I'm like, I don't want to do it, but obviously you have more experience than me. I'm going to swallow my pride and take your advice, and I do it. And look where I'm at. So for me, I'm hoping to one day, and I'm not a big political person, and he always gets at me. He's like, you should run for politics. You know everybody, everyone loves you.
You're
You're so good.
awesome in the way you talk, and you're very knowledgeable about very important things. We do that. I definitely would vote for you if that was
It's
an option.
and so for me, because I've been traveling around the world, whether it's Bahrain or Colombia or all these different places, I see what we're lacking in such a beautiful city that could be so much better because we have so much violence or kids taught that being bad is good or at least in in the hood, the neighborhood, stuff like that. And especially in my neighborhood, like, I sold drugs and I was a kid, very little, but my family obviously did that and partook in that stuff because that's all we really knew. I remember my first drink, I think I was 9 years old the first time I got drunk. The first time I got high, I believe I was 10 years old. All these things where it's like there that shouldn't be there, or there shouldn't be an opportunity for that. So with that being said, like I'm only 31. I have a lot of time in my career and eventually I want to own my own gym to help my community back. But hell, my coach keeps on getting at me. I was like, man, every time I come back, every time I see a new mayor be elected, I'm like, you guys aren't doing anything. You only say this stuff and do this. And I'm like, I'm actually a kid, not just who's intelligent, smart, who's traveled the world. I'm a kid from the hood. I know what us, I guess, people in poverty or middle class need, but then I also know what the people who have money want and how they can still stay successful while helping the guys, under them. So, and hey, maybe one day I run for mayor, and that's,
Come on,
later on
Shorty. Like,
years.
what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I got a career. I have a belt to win first, and then maybe a couple
You
defenses
do.
after. So let's see.
Let's talk about your upcoming fight a little bit. So this is the third time you get close to a championship strap.
Yeah,
Hopefully, this time you're walking out with it around your waist.
third time's a charm.
That is third time's the charm. So, how does the experience of competing for a championship differ from a regular fight? We've seen Shorty in fights; he's incredible. We've tried to see Shorty in championship fights. It's a little light. So, how do they differ?
The biggest thing for me, at least when I was in Titan, because I had multiple championship fights,
Yeah.
and I was very happy. I was very eager. I was very hungry. I'm a kid who was just 23 years old. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't care what his record is. I want to fight him because if I lose, I lost to a better guy, and that's fun. For me, now I'm the favorite, which I don't like to be, because it's like, oh man, now I gotta win. So all these different things, I don't like being the favorite. I wish I was the underdog again, but I also need to show people why I am the favorite. I think the biggest difference about winning a belt or fighting for a belt compared to fighting for a regular fight is it is 5 rounds, which betters me because I'm known as the conditioning guy. If most of my fights went 5 rounds, I finish most people in the 4th, 5th round because my gas tank just does this. I don't deplete down. My first round is usually my worst round. I put on a show the first round, should I say.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
Yeah.
but for me, also winning a belt changes my life. It makes me a champion. It creates more history. It'd be my 8th world championship. And now in a different promotion, I'd be able to solidify why all my amateur work was so, you know, like why I needed that to become this. Why I've been able to become so successful because of my amateur career. It's all kind of led up to this moment. So even though the belt is very physical, for me, I'm probably just gonna show it off to a couple people that love the physical stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, the champion. But for me, I usually give it to my brother or put it in my trunk of my car because I'm like, cool. It's just another fight. It ends up just being 5 rounds instead of three. But in a big promotion like Brave, it does, change my life when it comes to like, wow, he's a champion. And then other champions look at me and go, I want to fight him one day, or I want to be like him one day, or other fighters go, cool, I want to fight that guy. That's what I strive to be. And for me, I need to be able to stay hungry and go, cool, I have the belt. I want to keep the belt. Let's keep on going and maybe one day be able to be a double champ for Brave as well.
100%. You moving to the bantamweight division was such a significant decision for you. How has the transition, impacted your training, your diet, your overall approach to fighting? It's been years since you fought in the bantamweight.
For me, I think I'm just a lot more happy, and that's the biggest thing. I've never been a negative reinforcement type of guy. Obviously, I can work hard, I can train hard, but I like a lot of, moral support. And when it came to, and I do a lot of things by myself, so it's really just conversations with me. And when my mental health wasn't the best, and now cutting, or at the time cutting the flyweight, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this?
I
Like,
bet
this
it
is not
seems
even
like
fun. Like, as they say, it's like if you go to a job that you don't like, man, that's hard work. But you go to a job that you enjoy, it's not work at all. It's just your hobby. It's just so happens you get paid for it. For me, yeah, obviously there's still hard work. You get cut, you get bruised up, you get beat up, but the process is still a lot of fun to say I can do this. And something I've changed in my life is I get to do this. I don't have to do it. And especially when I was at flyweight, I had to do a lot of things. I had to do these extra workouts. Now at bantamweight, you know what? Hey, if I need a rest day, then I need a rest day and I could take it. It's okay.
yeah,
Flyweight, I had to do all the work no matter what. If I missed a day, that messed up my whole schedule. Now it's like I used to relax a little bit. My body's a lot healthier. Mentally, I'm a lot healthier. And I also get to enjoy and live my life compared to, I don't know what I'm fighting again. Oh, I got 2 months. Okay, let me binge eat real quick and then, do what I need to do. Now, if I want to enjoy, like yesterday, a piece of small cake, all right, hey, I can enjoy a piece of small cake, blow out a candle. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. All right, that was a great boost of morale. Time to get back to work. So for me, I'm a lot happier. And I think that makes people a lot happier that are around me and part of my team where it's like, if he's in a good mood, man, I'm in a great mood. If he's in a bad mood, I am terrified to see what happens next. So, I don't want my light to get dim at all. So for me, I want to just keep on striving for more and keep on shining my light for people. And I think at bantamweight, I'm able to do that at my best.
I love that. The bantamweight belt has a lot of history and brave. Last person who actually tried going for it was Hamza, who is your teammate, part of KHJ. So, how has his experience influenced your goals and mindset?
I wouldn't say his experience has changed anything for me, sadly, because I expected to fight Brackatona. And if it was fighting Brackatona, I'd be like, all right, cool, Hamza, let's talk. Let's figure this out. What did he do well? How did you feel in there? I think for me, the guy who's been more significant than anything has been Eduardo Mora because he's fought, Nkosi Ndebele. And it's like,
True.
oh,
He
hey,
also
man,
called out Hamza a few years ago. I remember that.
he fought Hamza when I fought Izzeldin. So it's like he fought everyone. He's fought Izzeldin, he's fought Hamza, he's fought Nkosi. So for me, it's like, how did you feel against them? What was something you didn't expect? What was something you expecting that ended up changing? So being able to train with him and then obviously have the sport to get acclimated here and have food and a motorcycle and all these things to be able to have to make camp so much easier. And when I say he's made camp so much easier, it's like, oh my goodness, it's helped so much because it's things I don't have to worry about, and it's obviously
Yeah.
less money I have to spend with, finding a kitchen or finding food to make every single day at a restaurant from lunch and dinner and breakfast and all that stuff. And travel with taxis so many times, it's like, no, this has been super helpful and a partner in crime that goes, cool. Let's do this together. Cool. I got you. Dude, I'm at the same weight. We weigh exactly the same right now. I got you. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then we'll work together. So it's like, for me, Hamza's a phenomenal teammate, a phenomenal person, KHK brother, and I think him trying for the belt and I guess I wouldn't even say failing, but just not succeeding to the way he
Oh,
wanted.
yeah.
I think he did very, very well. It's just Bragatona did a
Put
little
on
bit
a show,
better.
to be honest, but yeah,
Yeah, and it is what it is. And I hope
skills
one
and
day
experience.
Hamza, yeah, and I hope one day Hamza gets to fight for the belt again or do whatever he wants to keep on succeeding in his career because he's Bahraini's the Bahraini champ. He's Bahrain's
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao. So it's
Exactly.
so for me, it's like I hope nothing but the best for me, the brother, and I want him to succeed and go for more. But when it comes to at least for this camp, and Hamza's helped me a lot, especially with Israel because he fought Israel years
Yeah.
ago. He was a great influence. But for this camp, Eduardo Mora has been my guy that I've been relying on. And I guess accidentally relying on where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can rely on you. This is awesome. I can be vulnerable with you. And it's an amazing feeling because I don't really open my guard up with people. So it's great to have a brother.
Definitely. It's a nice community that MMA is bringing. It's bringing all of us closer.
Mhm.
It's bringing the world closer in a way. All right. So back to Nikosi for a bit. So you're an 11-1-1, all angel numbers. That record, Nikosi's at 6-1. How do you feel of your chances of this fight?
I think stylistically, it generally favors me because the striker is always afraid of the wrestler. And even though I don't like wrestling in my fights, if I have to, obviously I'm gonna be successful with it. Lane O'Driscoll,
I remember
Israel,
Sean.
yeah, and even Sean, where I'm like, I don't even want to wrestle this guy, but he keeps on pulling me in his guard. I'm like, then I gotta, do whatever I need to do. But for me, it's like with Nkosi, the hardest part is that he keeps distance very, very well, and he's very fast. But with his altitude and now being a 5 round fight, how long can he last with the pressure that I naturally put on? And I think as a fight analyst and a fight commentator and other promotion, I look
Mhm.
at it as when I do a tail to tape, whoever moves back in this fight is going to lose because Nkosi's phenomenal at walking forward, but he's so slow at moving back. He's great at keeping distance, but if you can do a clinch with him, it's like you have a great chance of taking him down. And I'm a judoka. I'm a phenomenal All American wrestler. I know what I can do in the clinch, so I'm not worried when I get there. But the part is getting there and
Yeah.
how long is it gonna take me and how much damage am I gonna take to get to that type of position? So for me, I think that's the biggest outcome is can he keep his lane? Can he set up his strikes? What different stuff is he gonna do specifically for me? And is he gonna pressure me or and is he gonna walk forward? Because if he's like Israel and he pressures me and kind of forces a combination on me, then I more than likely will be able to grab him, and which I hope for. But it's like, "Thank you, made my job a lot easier." But if he's able to kinda try to outbox me and move around, this fight might be a lot more difficult than I even expect. So, I think in general, there's always a chance. He's 5'10", 5'11". He's very tall, much taller than me. You're gonna see the
I
gap
was gonna
probably
bring that up.
my
I was like, how
my
is he
face
gonna
is
kill
at
his
his chest,
friend?
but for me, I think he's exactly the same height as Israel. So when it comes to that, it's the same thing. I think Israel is stronger, but Nkosi is a lot longer and is better at keeping distance. And I think that's his best attribute. And he hits very hard, he's very strong, and he's very explosive. But how long can that last? And that's something I'm excited to see.
That's true. You actually make a very valid point because I remember Nkosi in his fights. He's very aggressive. He goes for it. He's known for his striking skills, and everyone says, like this guy, like he
Mhm.
can definitely strike. But I've never seen him go the distance in a way.
Yeah,
So
and
that
what you've never seen him go the distance and with a very talented person. Yeah, I mean, you look at Eduardo Mora. I'm not saying he's a bad athlete, but I'm also not saying he's the champion right now. Because if not, he would
yeah,
have beat Hamza. He would have beat Israel, all these guys. But you look at like Nkosi could not finish him. Nkosi hurt him, but he couldn't
yeah.
finish him. And with that being said, it's like I have different skills than Eduardo Mora. And I know I can do different things than Eduardo Mora. I fought a lot more talented guys than he has. So for me,
Mm.
this is more of a test for Nkosi, where it's like, can he finally live up to that level of expectation that people have been giving him? And for me, could I stay at that level and go, you're young, you're hungry, but I'm still the veteran. I'm still better, and I'm
Mhm.
going to show that.
I thought it was very interesting. The matchup, considering the years of skills and experience that was going on. This is more or less like Nikosi's golden ticket
Hmm.
that could skyrocket his career in a way. But the way you're talking about his skills and his strategy is very interesting because you being a commentator for Titan FC while also having a successful fighting career is such a unique position. So, how does that perspective as a fighter influence your commentary, and how does like steel to analyze fights from a different standpoint?
The biggest thing for me is when I was a kid, my dad would make because I never wanted to fight. My dad would make me watch boxing fights because that's when everything was
Oh,
very
okay,
popular
yeah.
with boxing. So he'd watch the free boxing fights on cable or whatever was on, or even the big popular ones like De La Hoya fights, Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, stuff like that. So he'd be like, "Who's winning the round? Why is he winning the round? What's the other person need to do to win?" So he would make me break down the fight, and when I didn't know, my dad would try his best to break it down as well. So for me, it was like, okay, cool. I have a niche for this. So like even fighters now that I sponsor, I'm like, send me who you're fighting. I will take a look at it because as a commentator, that's my job. They tell me, hey, we want you to break down these fights and who do you believe is going to win? And also who needs to do what to get the better of the other person. So for me, I have to really break that down. Plus my coach is a mad scientist, Master Bob. And same thing when I used to be coached by Dean Thomas. That's all we did. I mean, Dean Thomas is the main sports analyst commentator for UFC. He's that guy in between rounds, like, "Oh, what do you believe? yo, Alexander Volkanovski needs a door. Why is he beating Yair Rodriguez so well? And then he breaks it down very fast on the spot. So that's what I need to do as well. So for me, the commentary plus fighting has really helped me, and my background with my father has helped me go, you know what? I'm the smaller guy. How am I going to be able to beat the bigger guy? All right, he's longer. What am I going to do to be able to get on the inside? All right, cool. He's faster. All right, well, how am I going to time this so his speed doesn't really get to me? All right, cool. I have to figure these things out. Obviously, it's been a lot of trial and error, but physically. But when it comes to looking at this fight, and now it's so many months to prepare for it, and all the guys that I've been able to train with at Extreme Couture, I'm like,
That as
I'm
well,
not
yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh man, it's a guarantee I'm going to win this fight because anything can happen. Obviously, things can change when it's inside. He can throw something completely different that we've never seen before. But for me, as the favorite, I have to naturally look at him and go, he's hungry. He wants to beat me. And if I don't do what I can do, then I'm 100% going to lose. So I need to try my best, be mentally prepared for whatever he throws at me, and go, I trained for this. I trained with technically, at least experience wise, better people, so let's show what my training's been all about. Let's put all this time and weight into that one night, those, 25 minutes, and do what I need to do. But let's break down the fights. Let's have 3 goals in mind of what I need to do. Because those 3 goals are for sure. If I hit them, then they're gonna help me succeed. And if I don't, then cool. I need to adapt and figure stuff out on the fly.
You know, you got me so excited for your fight that's coming up. I really want to see how this matchup goes up together. It's very interesting for me, at least. I love seeing strikers go against grapplers, but you're a striker as well, but you have
Mhm,
like immense grappling and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu skills. So
mhm.
definitely going to bring fire away. Before I let you go, though, one last thing. So if we're looking beyond your upcoming fight, like, what are your long-term goals? Not just in MMA, but, like, for Shorty himself, like, where do we see you? Do you have dream matchups? Do you have, like, dream promotions? Do you have dream businesses? Are we gonna have a Shorty mixtape coming up? Are we gonna see you enter the rap at hip hop? You can
Yeah, yeah, no, I can beatbox and I write. I can write poems, so maybe I'll rhyme one day, but I'll bust a
Oh, no,
flow. But
that'll be incredible.
like I have stuff on my when I used to write to myself a lot. But um no, I think the biggest thing I want to look forward to is staying alive and see what happens next. I especially during COVID, I had to change my perspective. I remember telling my ex-girlfriend in high school, I'm like, yeah, I see this in the future, seeing that. She goes, no, I go day by day. And I'm like, that's stupid. That's the stupidest thing ever.
Oh
She
my
goes, no.
god.
She's like, no, that's yeah, you can have your goals and your hopes and dreams, but don't put so much pressure on the future. Let's just think about today. And when tomorrow
He's
happens, think
lying.
about tomorrow. And I'm like, that's stupid. And then when COVID hit, COVID stopped everything. So you literally couldn't think about what you're gonna do in a month because everything was canceled. All those opportunities, the moment people, everything, got diminished. So it's like, let's just see what happens tomorrow. When is this gonna end? All right, let's another day, another day. So for me, I would love to have my own gym. I would love to have businesses that help my community. I would love maybe, to be mayor of Chicago or at least do something for my city because I know I can help change it into
Shorty's your
positive.
man.
Yeah. And I want to keep on traveling the world and I guess the best thing about not having kids that I know of, I don't think I have any kids, but not having kids and just
Or
being
if
single, it's
anyone
like
has Shorty's kid, leave a comment.
and I'm gone. For me, I get to have that freedom of traveling. I get to have that freedom of, you know what, nothing is really tying me down or holding me back. So let me just enjoy today for today and let's see what tomorrow brings. And if tomorrow I'm in Colombia, awesome. If tomorrow I'm in Bahrain, then awesome. If tomorrow I'm up in the sky, then hey, it was a phenomenal life and it was my time.
God,
So for me, I'm just trying to see what happens next. And I can tell you, I never expected this type of life, nor this type of career and success and fame and so on. So I'm honestly blessed and favored by many to be able to do a lot of things. So for me, I just want to, enjoy the moment to the fullest, help as many people as I can, if possible, during that time. And, if things go great for me in the future, amazing. Thank you. And if they don't, then hey, I'm still trying my best and we see where it goes from there until I can't try anymore.
I love it. You're such a phenomenal person. You're such a phenomenal fighter, and I really don't wish you anything but the best. And I know you got this. You got it for you. You got it for Chicago. You got it for Yeah, forever.
All Latin America, everything.
All
Trying my
Latin
best.
America. I love it. All the best, Shorty. We'll definitely catch up soon, and when you're in Bahrain, let me know. Let's catch up. We'll see you with a belt, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully with the belt, and we got to get some dessert. That's for sure. Bahrain
Oh,
is a
100%.
phenomenal dessert place.
We got some new dessert places that I know you're gonna love. So when you're back
Yeah.
on
I definitely can't wait. I got to talk to Shakhalid and all these people board a cage came like, fly me out, please. I want to teach seminar, do something because I want to get some dessert. A time when I'm not cutting weight, please.
definitely, you need to try our cuisines here. We have food from everywhere. We don't have
Well, I
food from
can't
our
wait.
place.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's so many Indians and Palestinians and this and that, and there's so many like of everyone else except for Bahraini food.
Exactly. It's a melting pot of the whole world. Definitely.
Well, I
All
appreciate you,
right.
Shay, and I can't wait to see you. Thank you for
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
until next time.
Thank you. Until next time, have a lovely day and go enjoy
You-
Colombia.
I'll try my best, and please keep taking care of yourself.
Will do. You as well, dear. All righty. See you, Shorty.
Bye bye, Shay.
Bye.